Buongiorno a tutti e bentornati nel mio canale. Io sono Irene, sono un'insegnante di lingua italiana. Oggi parleremo di come dare ordini, ossia del modo imperativo del verbo. Interessati? Continuate a guardare. Alright everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the imperative mood of the verb. Before I start though, let me know that you appreciate these videos by leaving a like, commenting down below, saying hi, subscribing if you are new, and without further ado, let's get into it. Real question, real moment here. Do you know what an imperative is? The imperative is the tense that allows you to give an order. The imperative is an interesting tense because it's fairly easy, but it can also be a little bit confusing, okay? As many things in Italian so far. But anyway, the imperative is a mood that needs a conjugation, so it's not like the infinitive tense, for example, where there's only one form. The imperative you need to conjugate, but it does not have all forms. So it does not have the first person singular and arguably the third person singular and plural. That actually they do exist, but the imperative does not have its own form. It goes all the way to the subjunctive. But let's not worry about the subjunctive. Let's now, for now at least, learn those as if they were simply imperative. The good thing about the imperative is that it does not have several tenses. It can only be positive or negative, and it can only be in the present. So, as I said, it does not have the first person singular because you wouldn't give an order to yourself. So let's go through the conjugations, like the three conjugations of three regular verbs. First one will be cantare. Cantare means to sing. If I want to give an order, I can say tu canta. So that second person singular kind of sounds like the third person singular at the indicative. Strange. For lei or lui, we are going to borrow the subjunctive that can be used with the meaning of imperative, and that in that case would be lui lei canti, the third person singular of the subjunctive, and therefore the infinitive too sounds more like the second person singular of the indicative. When I first thought about it this way, I thought it was so confusing, but now if you think about it, at least in the first conjugations and the conjugation ending in are, maybe it's an easier way for you to remember how it works. Then we have noi cantiamo. If you want to say let's sing all together, you will say cantiamo tutti insieme. Then we have voi cantate. This is the exact same as the indicative. And then to finish, we have they. And again, we are going to borrow the subjunctive form. Loro cantino. Okay, as for a verb ending in ere, we could say chiedere. Chiedere is to ask. I does not exist. Tu is tu chiedi. And here it stays the same as the indicative. And then the third person singular is lui lei chieda. Non chiede, that would be the indicative. Noi would be chiediamo, voi chiedete, and loro chiedano. Again, borrowing from the subjunctive. As for a verb ending in ire, as soffrire, which is not a happy verb, but soffrire means to suffer. Oh my god, that would be a horrible command to give. Let's change verb. Partire, which is our very classic verb. Tu parti, same as the indicative. Lui, lei parta, borrowing from the subjunctive. Noi partiamo, voi partite, loro partano, borrowing again from the subjunctive. So as you can see, second and third group are going together. They are basically the same as it very often happens. While the first group is a little bit more independent, changing things a little bit more. As for the verbs to be and to have, because they are very important verbs and not going through those would be ridiculous on my side. They are irregular because they change the root of the word. So essere becomes tu si, lui, lei, sia, noi siamo, voi siate, loro siano. Avere is tu abbi, lui, lei abbia, noi abbiamo, voi abbiate, and loro abbiano. So you have to be and to have that are very strange and very irregular, but these irregularities we will find in the subjunctive too, but that is going to be a later video. One thing that I would like to add is that the imperative for the noi form expresses more like an encouragement to do something rather than a real command. It would be weird. It's more like saying, let's eat, let's sing, let's dance. Mangiamo, cantiamo, balliamo. When we have to turn this into the negative form, for the second person singular, we have to use the non, that corresponds to not, plus the infinitive. So, non cantare, do not sing. Non mangiare, do not eat. Non partire, do not leave. And so on and so forth. But this is valid only for the second person singular. For all the other forms, we are just simply going to put the non first and then the regular verb that we determined earlier. So to give you a couple of examples, I could say non andare a scuola domani, don't go to school tomorrow. Something that I've never heard. Mangia un po' di più, eat a little bit more. Guardate questo film, you, plural, watch this movie. Smetti di fumare, stop smoking. So this is really everything you need to know. But for example, if you are at an Italian class, the teacher could use a lot of imperatives, saying tirate fuori il quaderno, take your notebook out, or scrivete queste frasi, write these sentences, or parlate tra di voi, talk among yourselves or in groups, and so on and so forth. It's a very common mood to be used in such situations, honestly. So your homework for today will be to write down in the comments a few sentences using the imperative. I really want to see those commands down there. I'm curious to see what you can do, but that being said, grazie mille di aver guardato questo video, mettete mi piace, commentate e iscrivetevi se siete nuovi e noi ci vediamo nel prossimo video molto presto. Ok, ciao ragazzi!